Welcome to another episode of the No Ceilings Podcast. I'm Tyler Metcalf, joined as always by Tyler Rucker. Rucker, we're back, at least momentarily, on a little bit more of a uh, typical scheduling or program scheduling. How's it going?
It's going great. Yeah, we're going a little bit earlier today than normal for the YouTube audience, but it's because of the agenda on tap. You sent me this text earlier this week, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Metcalf! This is usually like 3 different episodes. We're throwing this all into one, so this is going to be an all-time episode. I'm very excited for it."
Well, we've had a deluge of tournament previews and recaps, and we haven't gotten to talk nitty gritty with prospects yet. And next week we're going to be out in Portland for Hoop Summit, and we're going to have a bunch of kind of in-person reactions to that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we'll be doing mock drafts and other stuff with Corey and Albert and Nick out there. So it's going to be an awesome time. So I didn't want this kind of stuff to go too long. I mean, first off, I always love talking and kind of reacting to the McDonald's All-American game with you. We'll get to that later. But also, kind of Cooper Flagg just keeps doing more and more absurd crap, and we'll get into it in a minute here. But it's like, you know what? If not now, when? We haven't really gotten to sit down and pod like normal for what feels like an eternity. So, why not?
It really does. It feels so long. I was talking to my buddies. I think this is the best month in sports. Obviously, for the draft community, it's fantastic time because of like Final Four and Hoop Summit and McDonald's All-American game. And then, right after Final Four is done, doors are open, folks. It's in the belly of the beast. Like, we're going to have all of the buzz and pre-draft stuff. I'm very, very excited for what we got going on at No Ceilings. If I'm getting off of basketball, we got the Masters, Metcalf. So, I mean, it's a great time of the year. And the NFL draft, it's my favorite time for sure. I feel like the McDonald's All-American game, I know we're going to talk about it later, but like always gives you a little bit more like recharge in the batteries. It gets the blood going. And then when you said, "Hey, you want to talk about Cooper Flagg?" I was like, "Okay, here we go. What a month!" So yeah, this feels great. I'm very juiced to talk about this one in depth.
Yeah, so just a little bit of housekeeping up top. You've been cranking out a ton of kind of season-long highlight videos over at the No Ceilings YouTube channel. If you're watching live on YouTube, subscribe, like, all that good stuff to make sure you don't miss anything. We're rapidly closing in on 14,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. So if you are watching, hit that subscribe button. The growth over this last year has been insane. You guys are literally the best.
We love you guys. It's literally given me life every time I look at the numbers from last year. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love everyone. So thank you guys.
And then over on the site, Corey and I had a written write-up, kind of recap of the McDonald's All-American game, what really kind of stood out to us. So it's a fun little juxtaposition of kind of me watching from home and Corey's takeaways from being in the arena and watching it live. I thought it was kind of a fun little exercise. I really enjoy doing these high school things. This is kind of the time period where we really kind of start diving into it a little more seriously. But ton of stuff over at the site, on the YouTube channel, on the podcast feed, as always. But we got a chock full show. So let's dive into Cooper Flagg, but I don't want it to get interrupted. I want us to be able to flow through it pretty easily. So we're going to take a quick ad break real early. Okay, Rucker. Cooper Flagg, very good at basketball. It would be shocking if he is not the number 1 overall pick. If he's not, I would imagine someone loses their job or something horrific has happened. So I kind of wanted to spend most of this episode looking at how Cooper Flagg compares to specifically previous college prospects, and specifically kind of the number 1 overall picks, and where he kind of falls in, kind of in line with so many of these guys that we've seen go number 1 overall in the past. And a lot of this is going to be stat based, and I wanted to do it specifically with college guys because, if we're like, oh, Cooper Flagg is the best prospect since Wimby 2 years ago. Cool. Fun discussion. Let's diversify it a little bit and focus more so on just the college guys. And that takes us back a lot farther. And you kind of start to get into some dangerous territory. So just for like, kind of big picture, Flagg is, obviously small forward, power forward at Duke, averaging 18.9 points on 48, 37, 83 shooting splits, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.3 blocks, and 1.4 steals. Per synergy, he's in the 86th percentile in overall points per possession, 90th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler, 68th percentile spotting up, 83rd percentile in transition, 58th percentile in isolation. He has an over 10% frequency in play types as the pick and roll ball handler, spot up, transition, and isolation. So it's a lot of different stuff really consistently. And then over 8% in all of those categories, as well as off screens and in post ups. So it's not like he's a one trick pony. It's not like he's just a really highly efficient play finisher. It's not like he's just a ball dominant guy. He's doing all of it at an extremely high level. Before we kind of dive into the nitty gritty and kind of comparing guys across eras, where do you want to start with Flagg?
I have no idea with this one because I really honestly feel like me and you could talk about him for an hour and a half, like easily. I have that much thoughts about how impressed I've been this year, the growth. Like we don't see guys take that significant of a jump. And the fact that he was supposed to be a senior in high school doing this, like everyone knows that. You've been hearing that. You're going to keep hearing that, how young he is. He's going to be turning 19 in December, I believe. It's December. It's just, you can like see the light come on in the middle of the year. I also think it's even more impressive that like Duke gave him way more responsibilities and he just flourished with it. Like usually you're like, okay, the numbers might go down, the percentages, the efficiency. They just unleashed him and he was fantastic and he was doing a little bit of everything. So coming into the year, my biggest thing with Cooper Flagg was like unbelievable prospect. It was just like, he's going to be number one. He's going to stay there. He's going to be the number one guy. I felt the same way with Victor. I felt the same way with Chet. I was like, those are the ones. Those are the guys I'm going for. Because they just can do so many things on the court that impact winning, impact the game. Even if they're not scoring, they can dominate a game. My biggest question with Cooper coming into the year was like, I don't know the offensive ceiling. I don't know if he's here's the ball, take us home. That question quickly got answered for me this year, Metcalf. Now, there's stuff he needs to work on. Absolutely. There always is with prospects. But, oh my gosh, some of these games, he's just an absolute monster. So, yeah, I agree with what you said earlier. If someone doesn't take him, number one, you should also get your pink slip right away, your termination papers. So, I don't know where you want to steer this one. I could talk forever.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem. We can literally go anywhere. So let's start with just kind of comparing him statistically, using some of the. I'll pull up the screen over here on YouTube so those watching live or after the fact can maybe follow a little more easily. But just kind of compare. Looking at some of his Bartorvik numbers, which only go back to 2008, but it's a pretty good sample size. And when we kind of look at where he compares here, sorry for it, it's a little janky, but just screenshots over on the Word document, but trying to make it as easy for the viewers as possible. But when we kind of look at how he compares specifically to number one picks, coming out of college since 2008, he has the third highest BPM of 14.5 behind only Zion and Anthony Davis. He has the third highest usage of 30.7, only behind Blake Griffin and Markelle Fultz. Ninth highest true shooting percentage of 59.3. Kyrie was the only other perimeter player who had a higher true shooting percentage. So when we kind of look at that list, those with, the astronomically high true shooting percentages are almost all bigs. So he's kind of falling more into that bucket of efficiency, despite being more of a perimeter-based offensive player. 21.4 defensive rebounding percentage was better than Zion, Paolo, and all other perimeter players. 26.7 assist rate, only behind Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Derrick Rose, Markelle Fultz, and John Wall. Not bad for a 3/4. Second lowest turnover rate at 13.7, which is only higher than DeAndre Ayton, who is, a post player exclusively. So incredibly high usage, incredibly high scoring efficiency, really high assist rate, and never makes mistakes or turns the ball over. 4.7 block rate, only behind Zion, Anthony Davis, Cat, and Ayton. 2.7 steal rate, only behind Zion, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and John Wall. And then a 3-point percentage of 37.4, which is only behind Kyrie, Markelle Fultz, Anthony Bennett, and Cade Cunningham for players who shot more than 3-point attempts per 100 possessions. He's literally doing stuff that no other college player has ever done in the modern era.
We talk about it all the time. Like, you've heard me say it every single year. Like, whenever the public or everyone is like, oh, the narrative's like, this guy's unbelievable, I'm the biggest, like, put your brakes on, make your own evaluation. Like, I don't drink the Kool-Aid. Like, I like to figure it out on my own. That's the whole part of evaluating. And I've just been in awe of like the growth he's taken this year at Duke, different roles. They were having problems with their point guard situation, and all of a sudden they're running the offense through him, and he was just a machine with playmaking, with making the right reads, getting people easy touches. Everyone's kind of hopped on his back and flourished, and that's why Duke's become one of the most dangerous teams. And you see in the tournament with some of the decision making he's making, like as a distributor, like driving kicks, and the numbers are backing it up. So whenever you watch someone and they're just jaw dropping on tape, and then you see the numbers are jaw dropping, it's usually a pretty good sign for how they are as a basketball player.
Yeah, and this exercise, I'm not trying to denigrate anyone else here, but when you kind of look at this list, and obviously Kyrie's a little bit of an outlier just because he barely played. He got hurt super early. I had to kind of adjust the baseline minute distribution because of how early he got hurt. But a lot of these guys are kind of special, or were kind of specialists in college. Obviously, there is room for improvement and the natural kind of career growth that we expect and hope for top overall picks. But like Blake Griffin wasn't spacing the floor in college. Karl Anthony Towns wasn't doing what he was doing on offense in college. Zion Williamson, he shot it a little bit, and he's probably the closest to kind of what Cooper's doing, but he was just so physically dominant and imposing that was, he was just kind of unstoppable in that realm. And I feel like Flagg is consistently showing way more playmaking consistency and kind of 3-level scoring versatility. And Anthony Edwards was just flat out bad in college. And Cade Cunningham was probably the closest. And if you kind of put him in terms of just all around versatility and impact, and if you kind of put him on a better team rather than, that Oklahoma State team that had its warts, that would have been interesting to see kind of how his numbers shifted or compared after the fact. But just from a statistical standpoint, but also a film standpoint, what we see every single game with Cooper Flagg, and it's like this going back to U16 FIBA, is he just impacts the game in however he needs to in that game. If they need him to be the primary playmaker, done. Need him to score 30, done. Need him to crash the boards, rebound at a high level, and play lockdown defense, done. Need him to do all of it, done. I can't remember, or it's been a long time since I can remember a college freshman being able to do that easily, this quickly.
I completely agree with you. I think it's also like the intangibles too. Like, we're talking about how good he is on the court as a player, on both sides of the ball, but like the intangibles too. Like, he's competitive as hell. We've heard that forever. We've seen it since going back to last year at Nike Hoop Summit, like just how he's a monster in practice. Like, he is full speed, like bat out of hell all the time. He's competitive as shit. And then you go back to Team USA minicamp, and he's going toe to toe with the best players in the NBA. Everyone's talking about how Cooper Flagg was just killing it. It's like, we probably should have seen this coming. This guy just continues to take on challenges and find another gear. And when you think it's like, that's the best thing I've seen it with Cooper Flagg, is he is the definite next play guy. You could stop him and it's going to unlock another like level of madness with him. Like, he's so competitive. He has that fire to just be like, okay, you got me this time, but I'm going to get you back. Like, we have to remember the beginning of the year, he turned the ball over to a couple games to start the year, and everyone's like, Cooper Flagg in the clutch, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's
just
that Kentucky game,
unleashes.
right?
Yeah,
Like where
yeah.
he fumbled the. It was like, oh, it doesn't have a bag. He can't create for himself. No skill. Whoops.
And Kansas he had one too. He had like two to start the year. I know
Yeah,
the
the
Clemson one
Kentucky
he
one
like
is the
slipped.
standout for me.
Yeah, the Kentucky one was the big one. I was like, oh gosh, everyone's gonna rag on him. So he had like the rough start to the year where we were all kind of like, everyone's like, oh, he's overhyped. He's not gonna live up. He might still go one, but he's not this crazy prospect. And then he had a 12-game stretch after that where he averaged 23, 6, 4, almost 2 and 1.5 on 54, 47, 86. Almost 55, 50, 90 from a forward. Like, that's absurd. So people, it's always annoying to buy into hype. It's always annoying to just get everyone's going to talk about him and you're going to be like, oh gosh, everyone's going crazy. He's worth it. Yeah. He's absolutely worth it. And that's why if you're watching the NBA right now, you're strategically seeing a lot of teams. The tank is picking up speed, and it has been for a while.
No, I think it is important to kind of make the distinction here that we're not saying that Cooper Flagg is hands down the next LeBron James, Michael Jordan, anything like that. We're talking about him as a prospect and how he compares to some of these other guys, specifically as prospects coming out of college, where, situation and landing spot, health, injuries, all that kind of stuff plays a huge factor, as does kind of current team context. So I feel like I know the answer here, but Cooper Flagg is obviously on a very well-constructed, dominant Duke team. It'd be nice if they had a little more point guard play, but we're kind of grasping at straws here to find a criticism. If you put him in a different situation and not on this Duke team that has big time massive rim protector in Malawach and a really dynamic off-ball creator and solid defender in Concanipple and experience with Sion James and Tyrese Proctor, and even some of the transfer forwards that they had come in to add to the depth and leadership of the team. Do you think Flagg's season would have been all that much different if we put him on, say, like a team ranked in like the 15 to 20 range rather than the 1 to 5 all year?
I don't know. Probably Metcalf, but here's my
obviously a little bit, but
and
significantly.
No.
Yeah.
And I think he would have had better numbers scoring wise, because here's where I'm trying to get at with that is I think what makes him so special is he could have adapted. Yeah. He could have kind of, oh, you need me to be the guy and score a bunch? Okay, fine. I'll do that. You need me to be a facilitator and set up. We have shooters, but we don't have okay, fine. I can find shooters and drive and kick. I think that's what makes him so special, and what makes him such a special prospect at the next level is whatever team drafts him, he's going to be able to give you a big burst in a number of different areas for your team. I still think people don't realize what a good defensive prospect he is. I think offensively he's been so special, but we were so pumped about his defense coming into the year, and it's starting to show a little bit in the tourney. He's had a couple moments where I'm like, all right, everyone's going to start seeing what you're seeing, but I think he's got crazy two-way tools. So I guess I don't think a big difference. I think he would just be more of his numbers look sexier because he's the clear number one option. He doesn't have, Concanipple and all these guys around him. What about you?
I think a lot of it would have been pretty similar. And I think another kind of argument in his favor is I'm not totally convinced that we'd be talking about the rest of these Duke prospects in such a glowing light if he wasn't on that team either, because I think he's one of these superstars that makes everyone around him better because of his versatility, because of his IQ, because of his malleability and leadership. And we saw that at Hoop Summit last year, where he's taken every single drill just to the max, and that makes everyone around you better. Now, his context has certainly helped him this year on an awesome Duke team, but he is the driving factor in all of that. So even if you put him on, say, this Kansas team this year, I don't think we would feel all that differently about him.
That's a tough one because he's going to be playing alongside Hunter.
Would
Um,
he have turned Hunter Dickinson into a first round pick? Who knows? You know.
they're probably for sure still playing. Like he is going to make true superstars. True, some of like and I looking at the names on this list that we just ran through. Like there's a lot of those guys had a lot of questions, but like the holy crap prospects that come around that are just true. Like, oh my gosh, do whatever you can to just be lucky to have a chance in the lottery. Make their teammates better, not just they're not just elite scorers or defensive players. They impact the game and make everyone's level of play higher. That's what Cooper Flagg's going to do. We're seeing that right at Duke. Like I'm talking about Duke potentially having 5 guys drafted, and in like 3 months ago, 2 of these guys weren't even like in my mind, and now I'm like, Zion James, I like John. He can get drafted. Like so. But he's getting him so many good looks from driving kicks. And like, I'm like, oh, there's intrigue here. He's making everyone on that team a better player. So I think he's going to keep doing that forever.
All right. I'm just going to kind of run through the number 1 picks since 2000. So bear with me. Everyone loves just
everyone loves
a reading of lists. And because I want to just take these names and kind of try and put into context of where Flagg falls into the group. So obviously last year, Reese Shea was international. Wemby was international. Paolo Banchero in 2022. Cade Cunningham in 2021. Anthony Edwards in 2020. Zion, who was the player of the year in 2019. Common theme with these is very few of these guys won player of the year as well. Cooper Flagg is probably going to do that as well. In 2018, DeAndre Ayton, 2017, Markelle Fultz, 2016, Ben Simmons, 2015, Karl Anthony Towns, 2014, Andrew Wiggins, 2013, Anthony Bennett, 2012, Anthony Davis, who is player of the year and national champion, only one to do that. 2011, Kyrie Irving, 2010, John Wall, 2009, Blake Griffin, 2008, Derrick Rose, 2007, Greg Oden, 2005, Andrew Bogut, who was player of the year. And then we get into Dwight Howard straight out of high school in 04, LeBron in 03 straight out of high school, Bargnani international in 02, Kwame Brown out of high school in 2001, and then Kenyon Martin in 2000. Where does Flagg kind of fall into that grouping in terms of as a prospect coming out of college?
He's pretty high up there, Metcalf. I mean, I kind of went a little crazy on my prep for this. I did like a tier. I went back to like old heads, so I might even have to make that like a separate video for everyone. But like I had kind of put them into like 5 tiers, all these names, and I was going back to guys like even Wilt and Bill Russell and Iverson. And I'm not going to spell every name I have on here, but I had a tier that was like, you were an actual monster. And I think we're going to look back years down the road. We'll look back and be like, people don't realize how much of a monster Cooper Flagg was. Like his numbers are not as impressive as what he is on the court. And it's just because how much talent they have around. So there's a lot of guys that are scoring and getting up numbers too. So yeah, to go backwards to what you said earlier, I think his numbers would have been just like terrifying if he was on another team. Like we were just like, oh my gosh, he's averaging 25 and 12 with 4 blocks, and it's funny when you do, like, for anyone listening or any fans, like when you go back and look at some of the like elite all-stars, superstar guys and their college numbers, it is ridiculous. Like they're psychotic. So I'm trying to measure, like, Oden was really good.
He was insane.
Like people need to remember, like I had him on my list for tiers of like, people don't realize, one of my tiers was people don't realize how insane they were. And Greg Oden was up there. So I think I'm having him above Oden.
Okay.
What about, where are you at right now? Like, give me some names. Let's go back and forth a little bit. Zion's tough because Zion and his numbers will look a little bit more similar, but Zion was like you were on the edge of your seat until he started getting going. And then once he had like some daylight, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is so exciting. Cooper Flagg, I just like, I'm as an evaluator, I'm constantly watching because I'm like, he's just doing so much shit on the court, like on both sides. He doesn't even have to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and I really liked Zion coming out that year. He was one on my board, but I thought there were a lot of questions with the defensive consistency, the shooting. I didn't really have any concerns with the health, which has now, obviously become the biggest issue. But like kind of going year by year here, I would take Flagg over Duke, Paolo. And again, these are comparing these guys as prospects, not how they are today. I would probably take him over Cade Cunningham, but I think that's kind of where I get intrigued a little bit because Cade had to do so goddamn much on that Oklahoma State team. But there were a lot of real questions about the shot, the turnover issues. And now that we're seeing him in kind of a better context, we're seeing him really flourish. But those issues really persisted in the early years of his career. And I would take Flagg over prospect Ant any day. Ant's highlight film was insane, but he also went weeks without giving a crap. And he's one of those guys where it's like, oh, you just needed to be in the NBA and be in a system that actually pushed you. And he's night and day in terms of effort and impact and all that kind of stuff. Insane growth trajectory from him. Zion, I think I'd still take Cooper. DeAndre Ayton that year never made sense to me as the number one guy. I always had Luka. I still would have taken Luka over Flagg. Fultz, I think, would be interesting. Simmons, no. Cat, no. Wiggins, no. Anthony Bennett, no. And then Anthony Davis is probably the one.
Wait, no's where you're taking Flagg above them or no?
Yes.
Okay. So I was about to really get pissed off if you were going to tell me Ben Simmons was
Anthony Bennett way over Cooper Flagg.
No, I heard Simmons and I blacked out. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Now, I need to preface this because people are probably going to hear this and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are just obsessed with him. There's like prospects in the history of college basketball and an NBA draft that I'm just like, no one will reach these guys. Like Shaq, Kareem, Duncan, for me, Larry Bird and Magic. Those are just like, don't even start the conversation. I'm not saying Cooper Flagg's even in the same stratosphere as those guys. So I need everyone to calm down. It's just, we just rattled off a lot of current high level players. And we're like, man, we easily over him as a prospect, like easily. So he's up there for sure. I don't think he's getting to Anthony Davis territory because a lot of people need to remember Anthony Davis averaged 5 blocks a game almost. Insane. So yeah, it's so funny when you go back and look and see some of their numbers. You're like, oh my gosh, like Anthony Davis, 4.7 blocks a game. I'm trying to find some other current ones for the Durant's. Everyone forgets 26 and 11 with 2 blocks a game, basically. And I know you were talking just number one picks, but
no, I would have taken Luka number one in that draft. I would have taken him over Cooper Flagg. I would have taken Kevin Durant and probably Greg Oden over Cooper Flagg, especially at that time. And the injuries suck with Greg Oden because he was so dominant. But I would have taken him and KD both over Cooper Flagg. John Wall,
I don't think so. I thought the numbers were going to be better. I looked at John Wall today and I was like, oh man, I thought the numbers were going to be, they were still nice. They were still very nice. I'll get it. Give me a second. That'd be a tough one. It's also like, we're not considering team fit. Like what was the lottery looking like?
Yeah.
Cause like the Greg Oden one, like I would probably take Oden, but like, would it be an argument?
Today,
yeah, today.
Well, but today is Greg Oden shooting,
today he's probably going third if it's Durant, I get what you're saying.
A healthy Greg Oden, that is.
Yeah. Wall was 16, 4, and 6 with 1.8. So 16, 4, 6, and 2 as a college point guard is pretty damn good.
He was just a walking highlight reel too, on a very good Kentucky team.
On a very good team. So those numbers are probably even higher on not. It's tough. I just have to rattle off too. Iverson today, I didn't realize averaged 25, 4, almost 5, and 3.4 steals. So he's up there, Metcalf. I don't think like buy the hype. If you're struggling to buy in, why? Just believe he's legit. it's the full package of on court, off court. Like, I think he's going to be a culture shifter. I think he's going to shift. He's going to have some team believing right away. Like, we can do this. Yeah. We got the guy. We're like, he's going to just unlock. Like, that's still why the Wizards, shout out Wizards fans, I love you, are my favorite fit. Because putting him with Alex Sarr, oh my gosh, that'd be so fun. Putting him with Bub Carrington, like putting him with all those young guys, like they're going to find another gear with their game. And he's going to do that for a lot of teams.
I think he's one of these rare prospects where fit really isn't going to,
right?
Or I don't think it will significantly kind of skew his outcome. I think he's pretty independent of surviving that. Well, and in the NIL era, everyone always loves the question, "Oh, should he come back to school?" No, he's going to go pro. I hate that conversation so goddamn much.
Oh, you better get used to it. First Take is on line 1. That's their topic for next month. No, I agree. If you're going to be the number 1 pick, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
go. Like, and he's also going to be. You have to see bigger picture. He's going to enter free agency potentially younger. You're getting a year ahead now for like when you're getting to your 3rd and 4th contracts. Now you can get that next payday at the prime year. So like, go. And also like, God forbid he goes back and got injured. Like, no, there's zero chance. When someone said it one day, I was like, what are you doing? And then Duke fans chanting 1 more year. I was like, okay, guys, don't waste your energy. What, any thought, like, what other thoughts you got?
He's the most impressive college prospect that I've scouted, that I've scouted since I've been doing this. Like actually kind of producing work and doing it. Anthony Davis is the most dominant college player I can remember seeing. He doesn't reach that tier. I'm not saying that Cooper Flagg is the next GOAT. I'm not saying he's LeBron James. I'm not saying he's going to win multiple MVPs, but I think he's almost, I hate saying this with prospects, but I think he's kind of reaching that tier of being kind of fail proof. And I think there's just so much to his game where is he going to be a perennial all NBA guy? I personally think so. I think he's the type of guy who can and will change the outlook of a franchise. I'm not saying he's going to be the best ever, but in terms of college prospects at this stage in their career, who knows what the rest of his development looks like. But at this stage, he's one of the most impressive college players I've ever seen and the most I've ever kind of scouted.
Here, I'll give you a fun one because me and you tell the truth because 1, we're too old to try to beat around the bush, and 3, we love fans and we want to tell you guys the truth. Coming into the year, did you think he was an all-NBA guy?
Fringe, more like
I thought fringe,
more like kind of consistent all-star level.
I thought consistent all defensive.
Yep.
And
then like a handful, like a handful of all NBA here and there, or not a handful, but like
I thought he could get there.
Yeah.
I thought it might be like, hey, it might be like year 5 before he gets that first nod. Now I'm like, we might be in for a bundle of awards, folks. Like we might be in MVP talks. Because I do think the offense still needs work. Like,
yeah, always.
We still need work off the dribble. It needs a lot of stuff. The shot's been much better than I thought it was going to be. It still needs to come around another level. Like, there's still a lot of work with his game, but like an 18-year-old doing this right now is ridiculous. And like, you go look back at a lot of some of the greatest players, college basketball, that were some of the greatest players in the NBA. They were there for 3 years. Like, they were at college for 3-4 years. Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to be a heck of a ride for with seeing what Cooper Flagg can do. Because now I'm like, man, you could dream as big as you want. And I think he could get to that point. Like, I do think he could be an MVP type of guy down the road. It's going to take some fine tuning, but he's got those tools.
And he doesn't turn 19 until the end of December. So about a few months into his rookie season, he will turn 19. So I just the age, the production, the physical tools, the mental tools. It's just one of the more impressive kind of combinations that I've ever kind of had the pleasure to watch. And I really don't think that it's that outlandish to say and kind of emphasize how dominant he's been as a reclassified freshman on one of the best and kind of most well-rounded college teams in quite some time.
Completely agree.
Right.
Anything
else on?
No?
All righty. Let's take our last break, and then we'll move on to the McDonald's All-American game. Okay. McDonald's All-American game was this week. If you guys want to kind of written recap, go over to NoCeilingsNBA.com. Corey and I did a duo piece. Corey was in the building. He shared his reactions. I watched at home. I shared my reactions. And then kind of the overwhelming takeaway was Darren Peterson is a lot of fun.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, folks. Darren Peterson, for everyone getting caught up on the 25 draft. Well, guess what? It's 26 talk, baby. But that's what we're here for. So Darren Peterson, one of the top recruits in the country, going to Kansas. I got to see Darren Peterson personally in person last summer at Formula Zero at Dame's camp. He was pretty much a baby there compared to everybody else. There was Rasheer Fleming, Asa Newell, VJ Edgecombe was there. Some other college, older upperclassmen, and then some of the top high school players, and then Darren Peterson. And I just been hearing Darren Peterson. I was like, okay, like I get it. Let me see what's got. And I thought he was very talented then, and I thought it was very clear he was the youngest guy there. Like I was just like, it's clear that this is one of the youngest guys in the gym. And I'm watching the McDonald's game, and man, does that kid get better in a year? Oh my gosh. Dude, and I told some of the No Ceilings guys, I was like, I've been seeing posts about like how good he was playing during high school, and I was like, I don't want to watch him. And I saw him at Formula Zero. I was like, I don't want to watch him. I want to see how much better he got from when I saw him in person. And then, obviously got some events coming up, and I think he's not on Hoop Summit's roster, right? There's some beef about Adidas and Nike and everything or something. I don't know.
I thought it was. I may have missed that.
Maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, I was like, I want to wait for like this time of the year where like, okay, let me watch McDonald's, and man, this dude is awesome. So second half really impressed me of that McDonald's game. I was just like, oh man, here's alpha mentality. This is what you love. So I'm terrified of him going to Kansas because Bill Self always ruins prospects offensively, but I think he'll change that.
Yeah, he feels like he could be special. The physical tools, the way he moves, it's NBA-esque. He just glides. He's incredibly smooth, and then he has that explosiveness around the rim too, where he gets up in a hurry and off the ground real quick. Then he knocks down some step-back jumpers. Then he defends at a high level. Then he's making these really impressive passing reads, and with the accuracy, it's like, You're making me feel things, Darren. He was really, really fun and kind of looking like a pretty incredible top three going into next year.
Oh my gosh, the top three next year is gonna like that's what I love about watching these games, Metcalf, and why we love doing No Ceilings. It's like I was a kid in the candy store watching that game with some of the plays, like the players on the court. I was like, oh my gosh, we got another one. Like, and we knew this. We've been looking at names, but you're also like going back to last year. You're watching tape, you watch a film. You're like, oh man, that next class could be special too. And then you're like, please just develop and keep going on this path. And then you see it right now, and you're like, yes, another one. Like, it's a stacked class. But Darren, man, he gives me Ant vibes. And what I'm saying about that is like when Ant gets downhill, you quickly are like, your eyes open up because you're like, oh gosh, he's either going to try to dunk on 4 people or he's going to do some crazy like acrobatic finish or some really impressive move. Like you just kind of like Spidey senses go up. Like when he gets a little bit of like a lane, and He made some great passes too. So he was checking the boxes pretty quick. The only negative I had was he had a couple short armed, like quick alligator arm threes that I was like, can you please get rid of that? Because then he had like a wide open one and like a sweet fall through, and it was nothing but net. But he missed like 4 short arm threes, and I was like, stop doing that. But yeah, like I said, that's my only complaint.
The other kind of 2 big names in the 2026 draft, Cam Boozer, AJ DeBonsa. Which one you want to start? Or either direction you want to go there?
I needed to plug your and Corey's article again because you guys just kicked butt with it. So everyone go check out NoCeilingsNBA.com. It was very, very in depth. You hit me. What did you like? Who stood out to you? I feel like this is going to be interesting, so that's why I want to see where you go with this.
I still love AJ.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I was
My
just
dog in the background started growling right after you said that. Okay, I actually really loved what I saw from AJ. So talk to me.
The scrimmage, he was settling a lot, and when the jumper's not falling, it can be a little bit of a tough experience. The defense in the actual game, I loved the body control, the footwork, the deceleration, the athleticism. When he got downhill into the mid range, that's where I was like, this is awesome. This is really special stuff from a guy who's 6'9", 6'10". The shot needs work, but it's just some of the decision making and shot selection stuff where it's like just wanting a little bit more. I know it's an all-star game, so I'm nitpicking here. He's still number 1 on my board, over a year away from his draft. So I fully recognize. Yes, he's still 1.
Proud of you. He's number 1 for me. He's gonna be there, folks.
I'm very excited to see him again next week over at Hoop Summit, but just nitpicking. And I didn't love all the decision making, and he reverted a little more and kind of fully embraced that all-star setting.
Darren was playing like it was a regular season conference rivalry in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the 4th quarter and Darren looked like it was the NBA Finals. AJ looked like he was in an all-star game for most of the game. I thought a lot of times it was like, oh, offensively especially. Defensively, I saw some stuff where I was like, oh, man, it's just there's a scary world here. It's a very scary world. I agree with you with the shot selection. There's a couple I was like, a little force. It's tough with the all-star setting because it's like
exactly
a little force that you haven't gotten a shot for a while. So you're probably like, let me get some cardio going. Let me get one up. And still did some good stuff. But I hear what you're saying. The deacceleration, I think, is also tough times. Like it's tough at times for that all-star setting because I feel like sometimes guys are just standing around. So it's not like you're like locked in defensively and there's more spacing. I feel like the lane gets a little crowded, but I thought Darren was the best player on the court. I went back and watched one of Darren's drives and like it's a sideline out of bounds. And like the whole time before AJ's literally just dissecting him what to do. And then they inbound it. Darren right to AJ handoff. Darren just blow by fighter jet dunk. But it was just cool seeing AJ just the whole time. He was like, come here, and like kind of coaching him. And I think also it was AJ kind of knowing like my man's on fire. It was after like Darren had 2 dunks. He was cooking. I think Corey even referenced it in one of his segments, but it was cool. AJ, like that moment kind of stood out to me because I was like, oh, AJ knows that he was feeling it. So he was like, hey, let's feed you. Let's keep you going. So I still love AJ. I think he's going to be an absolute monster, but we never get the All-Star games where all 3 guys just go nuts. So it's like, okay.
Boozer feels like a guy who's going to put up insane numbers, be physically dominant, look like he's too good and too powerful for even the college game. And people are still going to be, he's kind of boring. Is he really that skilled? It's like, this dude just dictates whatever he wants to do. He plays at his own pace. He's incredibly physically imposing, monster rebounder, good passer. It'll be fascinating where the shot comes around, but this didn't feel like it was an ideal setting to pull out the best from him. I have zero concerns about how dominant he could be at Duke next year.
It's my first time kind of watching closely, and he is a bad man.
He's huge.
He is boring because you're kind of like, all right, when is he going to do something? And then all of a sudden, he like off the dribble spiked down a left-handed slam, and I was like, where the hell did that come from? And
And
then
then you look at the box score and he's at 15 and 8. And where did that come from?
his rebounding is ridiculous. He's smart. He's a really like his dad was the same way. He was just a smart, like know how important positioning was with like where to put yourself for like Carlos was a beast on the boards during his prime years. Like he was a machine. So like you see that he knows how to throw his body around. I think he's gonna be a monster at Duke.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. You could tell me those three in any order. I'm fine with it right now.
Yeah.
Like I still think like it's a wings league, so AJ and Darren should be very, very sexy, heavy favorites probably to be near the top. But Boozer goes and puts up 22 and 12 at Duke and can shoot it a little bit. I'm gonna be like, oh man, that's a beast. Are you gonna also pass that up, man? Hey, team fit and everything, but yeah, they all looked awesome to me.
Who else stood out for you?
You know who I loved? I really, really loved, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have you in bold Sharpie on my list." Was Chris Sinak from Houston? Did I say his name wrong?
Senek.
Senek. Dang it!
I think
I practiced too. Senek, and I knew it was Senek. I said Senek right before I started. I like him. Center going to Houston. Anytime someone's going to Houston, I'm like, yes. Very intrigued. Kind of gave me some Khalil Ware, but a little bit more bouncier, like a little more like fluid, active
That's
vibes.
actually, I like that a lot. Yeah.
There was just like some very clear plays where I was like, oh man, you're doing that before you get to the coaches staff at Houston. Like, this is great. Like, he just had a defensive sequence on the perimeter. He slid his feet. I thought he was active. I thought he showed some good touch. Like, that was one that kind of caught my eye right away. What about you?
I like Senek a lot too. During the scrimmage, I think he started out 0 of 3, 0 of 4 or something like that.
I haven't watched the scrimmage. I was going to watch it after.
But
great.
I was like, oh God, like why is this big just chucking from outside? And it's like, these are bad shots. And then you know, he had multiple rebounds, a couple blocks, knocked down his next 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 or something. And it's like, oh, okay. And then during the game, starts spacing the floor a little more. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Fantastic. So now Kelvin Sampson is getting another really good rim protector, another really good rebounder, another really good athlete in his front court who can now also space the floor. Totally fair stuff going on there. I thought he was really well. And then his teammate as well, 6'6" wing, also headed to Houston, Zai Harwell.
Yes.
Didn't do anything in the first half. Then dropped 17 or 16 in the second half alone.
He was on fire. Cooking.
He was insane.
It's like, Samson, what a class you got coming in. So that's funny. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, another one? Like, so if I'm a Houston Cougars fan, I'm having a very good week so far.
Yeah.
Who else
was
you got?
Incredibly fun. And speaking of flamethrowers, Tunde Yesufu. Turns out that the guy who is, I believe he set the record for California high school scoring. Turns out he's good at scoring the ball. Built like a linebacker, freak athlete, insane work rate, jumping passing lanes, defending, knocking down threes, putting on highlight dunks. He was one of the most fun across both games.
Tunde was at Formula Zero and just got, when I was there, and he had just got like hurt. So he had like a leg injury. He was out the whole camp, but he was there. And like, I was like, oh man, I would have loved to watch him because he was like built. Like, I was like, who's like him and Rasheer Fleming were at that camp. And he was just like, are you guys going to have like a bench press like competition after? Like, they're just built. And I was like, this kid's still in high school? My goodness. And watching him during the game, I was like, oh man, there's some fun stuff here. And I forget who was doing play-by-play. But they said he models his game after Ant. And I was like, well, you can see it. Like he's got the wristband on too. And yeah, I very, very big fan. Very, very excited that he's going to Baylor. He's a fun one. He's gonna be a bad man.
Yeah.
Like here's a fun one. We don't know the international class right now, so everyone calm down. Who would you go? Who would be fourth for you?
Oh,
I don't really usually ever do this, so this is just fun. Let's overreact a year and change ahead,
just from these guys,
or just in general. Like,
do I need to pull up who's returning just so I don't miss
no,
someone?
I guess if you had a okay,
Lagoon Gawath, but no, he
if he went to Michigan, I'll make it simpler. From this game, like excluding the top three, who would be your fourth? Just this game. Everyone hear that? Just this game.
Probably Ahmed.
Yeah, he was.
I think he was smooth. At
6'9". He hit a 3 to start the game. I was like, oh, this. Everyone's hyping this guy up, and I got this lengthy guy hitting bombs right away off the dribble. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but then I mean, he was like keeping his dribble alive, and he's rail thin. But even when guys were bumping him off his spot, he wasn't killing his dribble. He was keeping it alive, keeping his head up in traffic, looking for kickouts, and he's massive with a high release and smooth shot. I really liked Ahmed, and
I love that he said, I'm not. He was going to announce his decision at the game, and then he said, no, I'm going to wait. I was like, genius. He knows like the portal's going crazy. Let me wait and see what happens. Like genius.
Give these schools a little more time to scrape together a few extra $100,000 here and there. You know, it's
price just went up. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Who else did you got? Who else stood out to you? I know you wrote your piece, but I
really liked Michael Brown, point guard from going to Louisville. Just like effortless pick and roll creation, and some of his playmaking was really, really impressive. Constant dropping dimes with pocket passes out of the pick and roll. During the scrimmage, he had this driving kick where he collapsed the entire defense, kicked it out, pinpoint accuracy. Absolutely love to see it. I thought he was really fun, and that Louisville backcourt could be a blast next year.
Louisville should be a blast for sure. Man, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Mike Hill's a very intriguing one. I'm very excited to keep watching him. I really liked Harwell in the second half. I was like, what the heck? Like, okay, I'm in. Another 6'6" flamethrower. I'm telling you, man, I liked Caden Boozer.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how the shot develops, but he just doesn't make mistakes. Just really smart player.
The IQ, the feel stood out to me. I don't know. It's tough because I haven't seen the whole class to put a range on it, but I was just like, oh, this is a first round guard for sure. It's 6'4", like absolutely great feel. Caden just stood out to me for sure. I had a couple more names.
Where were you at with Berries?
Up and down. I was kind of like very excited to start, and then he didn't really do much after, and I was like, but I'd very much like him at Arizona. Bear down, please. Your buzz, please bear down.
Caleb Wilson, I was really intrigued by. I think the shot needs a lot of work, but that dude plays like a maniac. And I made that as a compliment.
I was in love to start the game, and it felt like the more I watched, the more I was like, oh. And I don't mean this in a wrong way. It was just like, I still really like him, but it was just like, oh, we're raw. We are raw. We're very raw. Yeah. But because he started out like defensively, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And like, then I was like, wait, as the game went on, I was like, is this Drake Powell 2.0? Like, we're just getting the raw forward, but he still got some fun tools. I struggle with a cuff.
A cuff?
Cuff. I'm getting them all out, folks. Really struggled.
We got a year.
A cuff.
Yeah.
I knew it was a cuff too.
He was shifty, kind of fun. Didn't love the decision making.
No, again, I didn't love it.
He felt very reminiscent for a lot of Calipari's guards from the past. handful of years.
Did they have another? I swear they got another recruit, and I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm just no filter. I didn't like him either, and I was like, wow, what a class. I need to look up the roster. They had some kids shooting.
I'm blanking on the name, but
I'll look up the
he
roster.
he was more of a off ball guy. He didn't do much. At least that stood out to me. Trey McKinney, I'm either going to love or he's going to give me a heart attack. 6'4" guard headed to Michigan, incredibly aggressive and confident scoring. Not the most efficient. Couldn't buy a shot. But the mentality is fun? Question mark.
So, I really liked him in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden, in the second half, I was kind of watching while also like, I don't know why I was doing this, but I was trying to watch film on my computer while also watching the game. Not possible. And I thought he was the one on fire, and it was Hartwell. So I was like, McKinney, I knew it. I liked him. And then all of a sudden, they get Hartwell again. I was like, oh, that was Hartwell the whole time. So I still like him, but I completely agree with you. I'm either going to be very, very excited or be like, oh, okay. Maybe not. You know who I was intrigued with? A little bit of a wild card is Nicola Bundalo.
Yeah, he didn't play in the scrimmage. I think he was battling an injury or something.
Mm-hmm.
That dude plays hard.
Kind of liked him.
He was fun.
He's a little fun big man. I think one time he had like a really nice sequence, and then they're like the 6'10", 6'11" going to Washington. I was like, 6'11", what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? So caught my attention. I wrote his name down in my notes. And then Malik Thomas was the one that I was like, oh my gosh, we have two microwave guys sharing the backcourt at Arkansas next year. And it's probably going to be electric, but also just was a little scary. So Elijah Arenas, I'm not in on right now, folks. I think we're still waiting for him to pass.
I think I recorded two that he made, but
was it an inbounds? One of them?
It was an entry pass.
Okay.
He very clearly looked like the youngest guy out there.
Yeah. He's talented.
There were some, yes, there were some fun flashes of skill and physical tools. He needs time.
Please, everyone, calm down. These are all-star game overreactions. Like, I don't need any DMs. Like, what are you talking about? And it's just it's tough.
He's got a ton of upside.
There's clear guys that don't look good in this setting.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done this episode every year, and we always bring up some big names that just didn't look good. We did
like if I didn't know who Cam Boozer was coming into this game, I probably wouldn't be walking away going, "Oh, he's a top 3 pick."
Yeah, you'd probably be like, "Oh,
like hey,
Peterson looked great."
Yeah,
I agree with you. Any other names? You know what I just remembered is the one year we did this, and we talked about like 10 guys, and all of a sudden we're like, "Hey, Reed Shepard looked really good."
Yeah, so our track record with standouts in this game, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Like Brandon Miller was the first one, Reed Shepard the next one. When these guys are 4 and 5 star prospects and go playing in the McDonald's All-American game, they're obviously good. So it's not like we're taking wild swings here, but there's some carryover.
I agree.
Right.
We usually have a good eye. I can't say his last name, but it's 6'7" lefty from Cincinnati. I liked a ton. Yeah, I liked a ton. I don't know if he's going to be a prospect. I loved him though. Yeah. He just seemed like I was like, oh, this is a guy that I'm going to like. I don't know why, but
I'm going to have a couple games where he goes like 7 of 10 from 3, and
yeah,
a couple others where he doesn't.
Yeah, a couple others he doesn't. Anything else?
No. Which means we got to move on to the stock game because Corey put up an updated list.
So long.
Over at NoCeilingsNBA.com. And these are.
Hey, first of all, can I please give a shout out to the good people in the No Ceilings Plus Discord who have been very, very passionate about the stock game this year. They have been awesome. So shout out to all of you. We've been talking like crazy about prospects and some intel lately. So we love you guys. I wake up some mornings and I've got 50 messages in the Discord. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, let me get caught up. Like, I need my coffee first. So I was really excited about this one until we had Mr. Bennett Sturts announce that he's not going to test the waters. And I was like, son of a gun.
Yep. It's like, all right, well, there goes option number one on the buy list.
It's like, there goes my golden ticket.
Yeah. So for those of you who are new to the stock game, Corey publishes a piece over at NoSensNBA.com where it's the consensus community ranking. So he takes the big boards of a bunch of other sites, aggregates them into average rankings, and that's what we see over here in the left-hand column that I'm trying to highlight for those watching on YouTube. So like Trey Johnson's average ranking among a bunch of different sites is 7.2, and then we get a stock price for that per share using a base price of 100 divided by that average ranking, which we get for Trey 13.89. With Cooper Flagg, his average ranking is 1, so his price is $100 per share. Dylan Harper's average ranking was 2, $50 a share, so on and so forth. Corey expanded this one out to 75 guys, so he really went in depth and started to really bite into our penny stocks. If guys aren't on the list, they go for $1 a share. We both start with a budget of $1,000, and we can buy and sell. And once one of us buys a single share of a player, that means the other person cannot invest in them at all. And we're just trying to kind of make money on how it goes throughout the season. So I believe I had the first move last time. Does that sound right?
Sure.
So
where are you still beating me?
If we liquidated everything, yes.
Okay, I'm following on my second screen. Shout out now. I have a second screen back out here. It's so nice.
So like your potential profit and guys we both currently hold is higher than mine.
Okay.
But I think the last round I made a ton of money.
Okay. So we've got a nail biter coming down the final stretch.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be close.
Oh man, I don't think I've ever won.
No.
I think Mr. Finance has beat me.
Correct.
Okay. So the
I
streets
also
are talking
the numbers if I'm losing, so it's
the streets are talking that the underdog roll. No, well now I'm going to make the Discord ask for updated results all the time.
I'm kidding.
Man, okay. So Sturts is just probably not gonna be on there. Hey, can I cheat a little bit and then just talk? Can we talk about a prospect? And I want to see where you're at with them. And if you take him, I don't care. I'll promise I won't take him right now. What do you think about Pettiford?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like him a lot. His highs are really high, but some of the lows in decision making and processing speed.
I love him, but I don't know if I love him as this year guy.
Like he's clearly an NBA guy.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure when. Like if he stayed in and was there for me in the late first, I'd probably jump at it. But if I'm him, I'm not totally confident that I'm pumped about risking a late first round pick. You know, I have no idea where his kind of value is around the league.
Shout out to KOC, had him like top 20 on his board, and I was like, gosh, KOC just always goes swinging. I love it. Respect. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'll go. Oh gosh, no. See, if I jump on that, I know I'm gonna miss a name here. I'm stalling. I'm gonna go Walter Clayton Jr.
Oh, you son of a...
Yeah. Happy learned how to putt. I'm gonna go Walter Clayton Jr.
Where's he at?
He's at 49. I'm gonna buy 50 shares.
Okay.
I'm gonna have his season highlights up on the YouTube channel as well. There's just a lot of clips, so those take very long to edit.
Alrighty. That was kind of the big one I was going to go for.
Yeah, I was scared that I was
missing first round.
I sort of feel like he's gonna. dance into the end of the first somehow with a good pre-draft process? Doesn't he seem like the high floor guard a playoff team takes?
Yeah, just like a really, really good and kind of ready backup point guard.
Like I feel like it's a Celtics special if they somehow like maybe trade out of their first round pick like 4 spots back, and I know they have one in the beginning of the second round pick, but maybe they're like, we can get Walter Clayton in something, or somebody else that's a playoff team just takes him in the first round because go get your guy. I don't know. I feel like he's kind of steamrolling upward right now.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with. That's a lot.
I'm
gonna
really
go
bummed.
25
Go ahead.
shares of Jeremiah Fears.
Wow, you
Who is
lately
that?
you've been buying
11.2.
Yeah, lately you've been buying a lot of what's below blue chip? Is it just blue chip and penny stocks, Mr. Finance?
And there's a whole lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, what's the medium range? I feel like you're not blue chips but I mean I think
So my
Fears is a
big thing
blue
with
chip.
Fears is that I think he goes top 10. So even if he goes 8, that's $4 profit per share. I'd be really surprised if he goes outside the top 10.
Yeah.
Where you going?
Oh man, I just looked at my numbers and Derek Queen, make me some money, baby. Keep cooking. Wow, what a move. Here's an even better move. Sell all of my Jace Richardson stock.
Yeah.
How the tables have turned. How the turntables. I mean, he's at 12 right now. 12th. I know people have him top 10 that, I like most of you on the internet. I can't see him getting higher than that. Or
real mixed feelings around the league.
10. Yeah, really mixed feelings around the league. Really mixed feelings. Going to be that way. Wow, there's some names a little lower than I thought. Okay.
But I mean, like for an aggregate ranking, I don't hate 12 at this point. He's so good this year. But I think you're probably selling near the high. So
my finance department's pretty happy with my decision. So everyone's shaking hands around the table.
I'm going to buy. No, I'm gonna go Milo Suzan.
Penny stock?
He is at.
Oh, he's at 74. That's a good purchase. 74.4.
So $1.34 a share.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We'll go 50 shares.
Yeah, that one's gonna pay off. Oh, who's gonna buzz? I have to remember who you have. Gosh, there's some names that I'm really annoyed with right now this time of the year because I just don't. I don't know if they're going to go higher. I don't know if they're going to go back. I don't think some are going to go back, but
there's some names in this range where it's like, I could see you getting drafted top 20, but I could also see you saying that you're going back to school and totally tanking your stock price.
I'm going to. You don't have him, right? Oh gosh, you have a lot of names. I'm gonna buy. What do I have left? All right, now I've got 525. I'm gonna buy 50 shares. No. 40 shares of Neat Clifford.
Alrighty,
my guy.
Where's he at?
My knight in shining armor. 25.2, Mr. Finance. I don't think you're gonna buy him, so I'm just gonna say this. Like Will Riley at 31 is driving me crazy. Because I could see him going 31st and I could see him going 18th.
Don't you? Yeah, you have 100
I
shares
have
of
him
too. Yeah.
Well, what a great purchase.
Going top 10.
Go top 10. But like that, you know what I'm trying to say though? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going back, or else we would have heard that name pretty quickly. But I don't know.
All right. I'm going with another upperclassman. I'm going Sion James. 50 shares at $1.48 a share. So you have $366.92 to work with.
I'm gonna go penny stock. We're swinging for the fences, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go 50 shares of Thomas Howe.
Oh, you! God damn it!
I brought the heat this year, Metcalf. I'm tired of losing.
He's not
I
on
want to
here,
win.
right?
No, he's a penny stock.
Yes. God, that was my next move. I knew I should have.
You should have.
I should have. You weren't going to go Sion, were you?
No. Valuable lesson in life is when you want some, go get it. Don't wait.
Well, I wanted all of it, but
no, you get none of it because you waited.
I'm gonna go. Come on, Malawatch.
Ew.
The whole town knows Frank.
Did you lose a bet?
No, but I also won't be surprised if he goes top. Is it 9?
You with the minimal returns.
I mean,
we do our last one? We do it always after the draft?
So if he goes 6, that's $5 per share.
Great
profit.
job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Relax.
When did we do the last one? Did we do the last one like end of the year after the draft?
The last one is after the draft. So then the drafted or wherever they get drafted is what we base the price off of.
Okay, let me see about. I sold Jace. Who do I need to get rid of? Oh, I doubled down on Neek. Good, Tyler. Good. And everyone I want to buy, I've already got the stock. Look at this.
Well, if you're done, you don't have to make a move.
I'm thinking about stopping. You know, I'm gonna sell all of my Miles Bird stock.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you were gonna hang on to that.
Ooh, that one was scary.
Where's he at?
He's at 33.
80.
Tweeted LOL after Magoon decided he was going to return, which I was like, I'm going to overanalyze this in the back of my head.
Okay. I'm going to sell all of my Cannon catchings. Whoops.
Oh, weird end of the year for him.
Yep. Not great.
Then they put him in like the tourney, and I was like, what? And then all of a sudden he just transfers immediately.
Yeah.
I guess Purdue is the rumor, maybe. I'll sell my Janiyah Broom stock.
Oh.
He's at 29.
All of it?
Yeah. Gosh, I got Danny Wolf stock too. Gosh, good. I was just cooking last time. Danny's fun, man.
Whoops.
I think he could shock the crap out of us and go a lot higher than we're expecting.
There we go. I'm going to sell my Casper stock.
New big boards coming out next week, by the way, for everyone still listening. New big boards at No Ceilings. A couple exciting announcements in the future. A lot, actually. You know what, Metcalf? I'm gonna run through my board, but I think I might be good.
You done? Okay.
A lot of the guys I was gonna buy, I still have their stock. I'm looking to see if I want to get any dollar bills out there. Oh, I have one. Never mind. Go ahead. Okay. Or am I up?
You're up.
I want 10 shares of Richie Saunders.
Oh.
Penny stock.
You think he comes out this year?
No, but that's why we're at least dabbling.
All right.
I also think that's a pre-draft guy. Like he should go test.
I'm going to sell my Rasheer Fleming stock.
Just posted his highlights up on the YouTube channel. It was fun again.
Fun player. Really like him. I'm just not loving how that number's trending down.
Yeah. I still think he's going to be one of those guys that might have a great workout with someone and just be like,
yeah, but I feel like it's still going to be like right around that kind of 20 range.
He's going to shock the crap out of people when he measures.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows how there's one thing of like hearing rumors about how impressive his wingspan is and everything. But when the final numbers come out, people are going to be like, what the? I mean, he's built like a 6'9" NFL defensive end.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's so many gross guys. I just have no idea about. Wait, did I not see a name on here? Oh no, he's there. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna go Elijah Martin. I think I misspelled his name.
Oh, that's a good one.
50? Sure, why not? 50 shares of Elijah Martin.
Oh, you know what? I have one more.
Okay.
I have him already, but I want to add 40. Let me see. 40 shares of. Oh, that's a big number, actually. Hold on. Hold, please. 30. I want to add 30 shares of Thomas Sorber.
Okay.
I've got a piece for everyone listening. I've got a piece of him.
Oh my God, you wrote? You actually wrote?
Yeah.
My goodness, look at you.
Yeah.
Dusting off the cobwebs.
I know. Felt good too.
I don't know what to do with some of these guys. Which probably means that I should call it quits. So I'm good. Any other moves you want to make?
No. Any prospects you're struggling with these days? Give a reward for the people still listening right now.
More so just what are you doing? Like Phylon, Will Riley, Isaiah Evans, Boogie, and the North Carolina guys.
I was doing my updated board today and got like 15 people that I just stopped and paused. And I was like, are you going to be in or not? Like,
it's like Bennett Sturts I had as like a fringe first round guy, and now he's going back. And RJ Lewis as like an early second round guy, and not totally back, but seems like he's going back. I don't know. They're just a lot of kind of freshmen specifically who I'm like, what are you doing? Make a decision, please.
A lot of guys too. I think that if it was obvious, they would have been making that known. Like if they were going back,
right?
Like Ian Jackson, Drake Powell, Phylon. I think Phylon's going. If I'm guessing right now, Boogie Fland. There's a ton of guys. I know you were just rattling off some too, but then it like gets uglier where you're just like, this is an annoying part of the year because you always feel like the depth takes a hit. Yoxel.
Go to Michigan. Play with Mraz.
Well, it's just that quickly he was in the portal.
Yeah.
Like that fast. I was like, oh. And now some of these guys might, I forget who said it the other day, but I was like, that's a pretty good point. Like some of these guys might still test, but I don't think if you're a team now in college hoops, you're throwing numbers at someone if they're going to also go test. You're probably like, no, we need some, if we're going to give you that, we need some guarantee that you're going to be here because we're building the team out.
Because then you sign that guy or, think you signed him. And then he's like, oh, my feedback was a little better than I thought. Screw you guys. I'm going pro.
Yeah.
And now you can't
recruit anybody else.
Now you don't have a point guard. It's like awesome.
It's weird because I hate the portal being right now, but it's also like, I see why.
Yeah.
If it was like after the season, then this would just be 10 times worse because we'd be trying to be like, are you in or out? And you have a super tiny window to figure it out. And these kids would be overwhelmed. Like, imagine if you're also getting, like, I have to go to work out for a team while also talking to Kentucky. Like, it'd be like, what the hell are we doing? So I get it, but it's just ugly everywhere.
It is. But to wrap up, where it's not ugly is the No Ceilings Green Room.
What an episode! An all-timer. Oh my gosh, that's
outline.
The draft sickos overlay. Wow, every time I'm not expecting it, and it's great. Okay, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. So the No Ceilings Green Room is the most exclusive club in the basketball world, especially the draft world, where no more than 14 players get in. It is not our lottery rankings. It is based on production, vibes, potential, vibes, all that good stuff. Guys can enter, they can be kicked out, they wait in line. It's a whole process. Currently in there, we only have 12 guys. Cooper Flagg, Trey Johnson, Derek Queen, Dylan Harper, Kasparis Yakushonis, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Asa Newell, Kaman Malawach, Jace Richardson, Jeremiah Fears, and Con Knipple. In line, Rasheer Fleming, Danny Wolf, Liam McNeely, Alex Condon, Will Riley, JT Toppin, Colin Murray Boyles. Anyone getting booted?
I feel like the line might need to we might have to have a pretty ugly rip the Band-Aid, put the line again. Do we need to rebuild the line?
Well, anyone in the club.
From inside? I don't think anyone inside. You?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Line, Rasheer Fleming, I think he has to go.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Just there's no hype, there's no excitement about him anymore. I feel like he peaked.
Okay. I got it. I'm okay with that one.
I still like him as a player.
Yep.
Not an indictment. Danny Wolf in line.
Yes.
Liam McNeely in line.
No.
Headed home. Alex Condon in line.
Liam McNeely is going to a bar with music. He's like, hey, my buddy's in a band around the corner. Let's just go check that out. It might be a couple more hours before we get in. So he's like, let me get somewhere else. It's fine. Alex Condon, I don't think he's in line.
Alrighty.
I think he's back home because his team, he's like, you know what? I'm not supposed to be out. We got a big game coming up. I have to rest. So I think he made the smart decision. He left.
Will Riley.
I don't know. You make the call.
I think he pre-gamed a little too hard and needs to head home.
He has to go get food?
Yeah.
Okay, he's getting food.
JT Toppin.
I like him, but I think he's out.
Colin Murray Boyles.
I think he's in line.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's in line. The buzz part of this is tough because of it's like no one's playing now. So, but Murray Boyles is in line.
Okay. Who are you nominating to go in line?
Wow, this is a really tough one because of the time of the year. I'm gonna nominate.
I bet Bennett Sturts was going to be my nomination, and then he pulled up, saw the crowd, and just immediately left. I was like, no, thank you, not tonight.
I'm going to nominate Nick Clifford.
Okay, I like that.
He's my guy. So if you listen to the No Ceilings podcast, for the next 2 months, I'm going to just be talking about how much I love Nick Clifford. So if that's going to bug you, there's also other shows on our feed that are outstanding people. And I'm just a really big fan. I watched all of his tape and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm in a dangerous world.
He's so much fun.
Any other nominations? Neek would be a culture shifter inside the green room. Everyone would be like, oh, Neek's here, sick. No bad vibes. Big aura guy.
I have no idea. I don't.
I sort of have a wild card one, but I don't know if it's appropriate.
Can I put Walter Clayton in line?
Thank you. That was what I was going to say. Unbelievable. All right.
Okay, perfect. Anyone getting in this week? They don't have to, but we got room for one. Well, we got room for two, but only
I
one
don't
gets
think
in.
so.
All right, so just Wolf, CMB, Neek, and Walter stand in line.
I mean, I feel like Danny should be in. But if Danny's not in now, are we ever going to put him in? Is Danny the CEO of the line?
It was Asa for
It was
90% of the season.
It was Asa. Danny just I'm a little biased because I just watched all of his tape, but man, that dude is fun. And
or does Clayton go in now?
I feel like Clayton could get in right now. It'd be very, very green room.
I'm not saying it'll last, but
no, but he could. Yeah, he's in.
All right.
He's a hot name right now. What if they go beat Auburn? He drops 25.
Fair.
Yeah, he's in.
Man,
Older is he the oldest guy in the green room?
Yeah.
We need an adult in there. Everyone needs it's Albert's favorite line. We need an adult in the room. Walter Clayton. Adult in the room.
He is actually the only non-freshman.
That's amazing. That's a great thing. That's so perfect. I've never been more proud. If you're old, we just kick you out. Our club is full of underage.
It's like, relatable. I get it.
Oh gosh. Yep, I get it. No, that's good. That's really good. I was trying to find. Oh, and should we nominate John Tanji for the line too? Oh, that's good. That's good.
All right. Anything else, Rucker?
No.
This was blessed as always. Make sure go over to NoCeilingsNBA.com. Check out Corey and I's recap piece from the McDonald's game. Check out Rucker's piece on Thomas Sorber. They'll be up on Friday morning. But he is Tyler Rucker. You can follow him at Tyler_Rucker. I'm Tyler Metcalf. You can follow me at Team Metcalf11. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. But until next time, see ya.